I know, I know it's been a while since my last upload. Just damn, 6 months. My bad. That's on me. That's on me. I've actually been sitting on a whole bunch of ideas, but school has gotten in the way of what I had planned to upload. So my only uploads since my last video has been slightly outdated demo reels from my spring semester and a couple of shorts that I worked on in this last fall semester. I'll probably do a channel update because I think I'm going to change some stuff up because I don't like the way everything is set up right now, but that is a video for another day, of course. I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for everyone who watched and commented on my last video. That actually made me really shocked to see how many people enjoyed what I had to say, and I do plan on making more videos like that in the future once I start to get rolling again. But I thought, what better way to usher in the new year than to reflect on the past one. This also gives me a chance to catch up on some of the stuff that I may have missed while I've been away, but without further ado, here are my top 10 movies of 2024. Oh yeah, play my intro,
Tomorrow, I'm doing bad all by myself.
Alright, before I begin, let me go ahead and tell y'all films that will not be on my list, even though they maybe should be, but you know, I just haven't watched them yet. I told you, a brother has been busy. Alright, Monkey Man, N.E.R.D, Mufasa, Civil War, Twisters, Furiosa, Y2K, Flow, Argyle, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Spaceman, and Snack Shack. Also, this is my list, so if you don't fuck with what I got in my top 10, that's cool. Just don't be a dickhead in the comments about it, because honestly, I don't care. Just let me know if you fuck with the movie or not. Also, if you haven't seen these movies, go ahead and watch them. Make your own opinion on it. My taste is gonna be completely different than yours, and don't let me encourage or discourage you from liking or disliking a film. Now that's out of the way, let's get into damn. Yeah, the list still hasn't started yet. Sorry, Playboy. These are some films that I really enjoyed this year that are borderline top 10 and could be interswapped at any given day depending on how I feel, because my opinion changes quite a bit. Sonic 3. I've enjoyed every film in this trilogy, and this one responded to every feedback from fans as well as concluding a great trilogy. I'm super excited for Sonic 4, and this one was at the top of my list coming into the year. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley. The Beverly Hills Cop franchise has produced two of my favorite movies of all time. No, definitely not you. And this new film is a worthy inclusion in the mix. It does nothing new, but it feels like a refresher from the bad taste 3 left in people's mouths. Challengers. Great performances and incredible cinematography throughout the entire film. I thought there were a few things I did not like regarding the plot, but those two aspects really make this film great. Gladiator 2. Same criticisms from Challengers, but this one has Denzel f***ing Washington. I think the issues with the plot are much more apparent, but you get really great shots, performances, and action sequences that leave you with a solid sequel to a great film. But now that we have that out of the way, let's really get into the list. Starting off, we have
Never mind. Yeah, okay. Gonna put these right back on.
I already knew I was going to enjoy Wicked going into the film, but I wasn't sure exactly how much. I never seen the Broadway musical, but I've always heard good things, so I was like, let me lock in during the film. I enjoyed the plot and themes that came along with the film. I thought it was incredibly cast, and I enjoyed most of the songs in the film. But I don't care, I was not rocking with this song. It just didn't hit with me, like not one bit. If this song has no haters, then I am dead. But Defying Gravity, The Wizard and I, Popular, and What Is This Feeling are all bangers, and I do have them in my rotation. My only nitpick of the film was I thought that it was a little too long, but that mainly has to do with finding out the original musical was about 2.5 hours long, which was the runtime of this movie. So I thought they dragged a few parts out, but overall I thought it was a great film. Should I rate these movies? I don't even know if I should rate these. You know, f it. It's my video. It's my video. 8 out of 10.
I ain't know my daddy, but I'm sure I shot out of his dick ready. There he was laying them buttery nuts all up in my mama, and I shot out there and I said, "What's up, Doc?"
I honestly went into this film with my expectations not too high. Don't get me wrong, I was still excited for this film, but I was worried it's going to be another jumbled multiverse mess, and I am so glad that the film exceeded my expectations. I thought the return of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine was handled brilliantly, and the arc he goes on is really well done. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool was great, as usual, and I thought that all the cameos were really super well done, and unlike a previous multiverse movie, my favorite probably being Gambit or Blade.
Thought you were, retired.
Retarded.
Retired.
I'm glad Channing Tatum finally got his chance to play this character after over a decade of the studio playing with him about solo films and being in other projects. Chris Evans also reprised his role as Johnny Storm, and he looked like he had a hell of a time in the role. This film also has one of my favorite openings of any movie, to the Bye 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 song by NSYNC, so I really appreciate that. This movie was far from perfect though, which is why it's at 9. I thought the plot was a bit bland and thought they were inconsistent with how strong they wanted Cassandra to be. I also was not a fan of the introduction of anchor beings. All this does is really make the multiverse logic in the MCU even more confusing. There were a handful of jokes that weren't that great, but for the most part, that comedy really worked for me. I give this movie an 8 out of 10.
Snoop has mystical vibes. I'm just like channeling him.
I've always liked Pharrell, liked his music, liked his style, but I never really knew how Pharrell became Pharrell. This was just a joy to watch, and it was such an interesting visual to represent his life. I love animation, and the world created by Legos was so visually stunning and creative. How the visuals worked hand in hand with the music of Pharrell and the Neptunes was just so incredible. I liked how nobody other than Pharrell also knew that this was going to be done in Legos, so all interview pieces were just other artists or people talking like it was just a regular documentary about Pharrell's life. I really don't have anything negative to say about this film. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Cut that bitch ass shit out, Mike.
This film just had the sauce. It had so much aura around it, man. Like from the soundtrack, Mike's arc dealing with the traumas of the event that he had went through in Bad Boys for Life, to Marcus's post-death clarity. There were a lot of moving elements in this film that shouldn't have really worked together, but it ended up working extremely well. I think my favorite scenes in this film were Marcus's I Can't Die scene leading up to the club shootout where he's drinking alk and eating jelly beans out the air. Reggie's big save, I think this was at the end of the second act, beginning of the third act. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This scene was all over my For You page for a while. I saw so many Reggie edits. It was incredible. And Bad Boy Mike's resurgence in the third act, where he's having the visions about Captain telling him it's not his fault on the beach. And then, Marcus goes out there and slaps him and brings him back to reality.
Bad boy, Mike. Hey, you're the big bad wolf in the neighborhood. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
The duo of Adil and Bilal really brought so much sauce to this film, and interesting shot types and camera movements that made this film more than just a generic action film. You can't tell me that these guys made a Batgirl film that was unwatchable after seeing their work on the last 2 Bad Boy films and Miss Marvel. Their style is so unique and vibrant, and I just love their work. I think this film also does a great job at setting up the future of the franchise away from Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, because while these films are built around these 2 superstar actors, it's not a secret that them dudes is getting old. I think they set it up where after the 5th Bad Boys or even the 6th one, they can shift the focus to Reggie and Armando taking over the franchise and people wouldn't be disappointed. This is doing everything people want from the Fast and Furious franchise instead of, just going to space. So another 8 out of 10.
You're lucky you just have one. As a mother of 7. 6 babies.
Animation is cinema, guys. Come on now. If you didn't know this before, you should absolutely know that now. A beautifully animated story about motherhood, the world is just so colorful and visually stunning. Taking these characters from the children book and mixing it with a pastel visual style, I just love every visual aspect about this film. The characters are also pretty basic, and the plot is very simple, but the themes prevalent in the story take it to a whole nother level. It's also crazy how dark the story gets. Like, I was not expecting so many conversations about death in this children's film. That's not a bad thing, it just threw me off. Like, damn, it was cool, it was funny, I liked it. I give this film a 9 out of 10.
What's happened to my underwear?
Oh, I literally have no idea.
So sorry, but do we know each other?
Yeah, no, I ran you over. Sorry.
If you know anything about me, you know that I love me a good rom-com. I believe We Live in a Time has the best performances from the two leads by any film that I've seen all year. Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh have great chemistry with each other, and this film does a great job of making you feel. I think when a film is able to make the audience feel an emotional connection, then that film, most of the time, is a great film. I felt a lot of joy in this film, and I also felt a whole lot of sadness during my viewing of this film. This film had me standing in the middle of the road waiting for a bad bitch to hit me with her car, like,
I ran you over.
9 out of 10.
I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis. Erudidina Heshidani, Nelisan Al-Gaim, Ruin Dimenaruk, Ashidi.
As someone who watched the first one and thought it was kind of boring, to be honest, the hype around this film really influenced me to go see it, and I'm glad I did. This is literally a cinematic spectacle. Incredible cinematography, great special effects, phenomenal writing and world building, an all-around incredible film. I want to apologize to Timothée Chalamet because I was honestly not familiar with his game. Paul Atreides was literally on timing the whole film. Also, I didn't know what was freakier, Austin Butler's freaky ass or that freaky ass popcorn bucket they were selling. My only issue with this movie is that I thought it was a bit too long, but it really is not that big of a knock off how great this film was. 9 out of 10.
Why not? It's not like you can transform.
Oh, yeah? Well, watch this.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I was not excited at all for this film. I thought the film was marketed horribly and it was going to be a very childish mess. Then the reviews came out and the Transformers 1 guy started talking about it, so I decided to go see it, and man was I glad that I did. The film was actually very funny, and the lore was so incredible. Watching the fall of D16 into Megatron, contrasted by Orion Pax's rise into Optimus Prime, was so incredible to see on the big screen. The evolution from what happened in the Bayverse to this has to be studied because the glow up is insane. The entire third act of the film was just peak Transformers, and this easily became my favorite Transformers film out of them all. My only issue is that some of the voice actors didn't even feel like they were voice acting, which happens when you get a bunch of A-list actors to voice characters instead of professional voice actors. I think Brian Tyree Henry and Chris Hemsworth do a great job, but I wasn't really ecstatic about Scarlett Johansson's and Keegan-Michael Key's performances in this film. Even with that, I say 9 out of 10. This film feels like a love letter to not just stunt performers, which it directly was given David Leitch's stuntman background, but it also felt like a love letter to the process of filmmaking in general. I loved every aspect of the film, from the phone call where Colt and Jodie are discussing if they should use a split screen for the film to symbolize something in the film, while the film goes into the split screen to symbolize the whole thing, to showing the whole trouble of working within a budget and agents and producers to get a film off the ground. I also thought it was just a fun ride overall. Ryan Gosling was hilarious in the entire film, and him and Emily Blunt had great chemistry throughout. Obviously, the stunt work was great, the story was extremely interesting, and David Leitch always does a great job with cinematography in his films, and it shows here. My favorite looking scene was the Neon Club fight. There was a whole lot of actors and actresses in this film where I was like, oh shit, no way they're in this. Like, I just had such a great time with this film that I don't think another film had me feeling as like interacted with, you know what I'm saying, with the film, if that makes sense. 9 out of 10.
Stop wearing my clothes.
Stop wearing my clothes. Dumb horse.
What'd you just call me?
贝贝，不要那么大声。
He just called me a whore.
When I tell y'all, I had been waiting to watch DD for over a year because all I heard from the film festival scene was that this one was so great and it was so amazing and it was so incredible. And they were not lying, guys. This film made me feel every emotion possible, from joy to anger to disgust to sadness. This might be one of my favorite coming of age stories, as well as I feel like there are a lot of elements of myself scene in Chris. You can see how personal this film was to the director Sean Wang, and there was a tremendous amount of care put into this film. I saw this film in August and I still barely have words to describe how much I exactly loved this movie. 10 out of 10.
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
Alright, before I go ahead and end this video, let me go ahead and give some of my most anticipated movies coming out this year, because the amount of movies I'm actually excited for next year compared to this previous year is actually insane. Captain America Brave New World, The Thunderbolts, Superman, Fantastic Four First Steps, Elio, Wicked for Good, Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, Mickey 17, The Legend of Ochi, Lilo and Stitch, Karate Kid Legends, Michael, which is the Michael Jackson's biopic, Now You See Me 3, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, and there are probably a bunch more that I'm just forgetting. But you know, I have logged every movie that I've seen over the past year with a little review over on my Letterboxd, and I plan on doing the same thing next year too. So if you are interested in more of my opinion, my movie opinion specifically, follow me over there at J Reese. But yeah, stay tuned to the channel. I plan on making more videos for sure this year. Thank you for a great 2024, and hopefully we can turn up this 2025. Yeah, I forgot how I normally end my videos, so you know, let's just go ahead and roll out of here. You know, let's just dip. Thank you again for watching this video. If you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to the channel for future uploads. If you liked what I said in this video, then tap into an episode of my podcast, Tendencies, wherever you happen to find podcasts. I'm Jay Reese, and I'll see you next time.